Well, hello everybody, it's Richard here, and I suppose this is part 3 of the Glorfonia 118 refurbishment programme, but this afternoon I thought I'd just update you about where I am. I've been doing some work on the motor, and the motor, just to recap, is a Columba number 5A, so that's on the back plate there. So I've been doing some work on that, but before then I thought I'd talk to you about one or two other things I've been up to. And as it's the weekend, I've been down to the local charity shops in Maidstone and rooting around there, and came up with some little gems. They're always hiding these gems, aren't they, when you're looking for records. As you probably know, I collect LPs and 10-inch LPs, which were the first long players before the 12-inch LP actually came out. So, but I thought I'd just update you about where I am with one or two of those little gems that I found. And so I'm going to take Mr. Hero, who I've managed to persuade to work this afternoon, off here. And right, now the first one, I'm not going to bore you too much with too many of these, but the first one is Flanagan and Allen successes. I love Flanagan and Allen because they're quintessentially British comedy actors, and were around quite a while actually, because they served in the First World War, so the back cover says on here, and on the line notes, and certainly during the Second World War they were very prolific. And there's the usual ones here called Oi, Umbrella Man, Music Maestro Please, Underneath the Arches, which is quite famous of theirs. But I think the Underneath the Arches one is a slightly different version I've got on cassette actually in the house. But so I've only played out of this collection of records, I only played this one side yesterday afternoon. So but really nice, and in fact you can see that this is in quite good pristine condition. It's nice and white. Sometimes go a bit yellow over time, so it's it's a nice picture of Bud on the front there, and and I love the sort of artistic sort of cartoon type drawings of them near the arches on this Columbia record. So so good, that one. This one is Marches of the World, and I haven't played this yet. This is on the high fidelity long playing Decca album, so I should enjoy playing that one. These early flexible, so-called Decca flexible records didn't really give much away. Certainly you only had the sort of titles on the front, and I've got quite a few in my collection. They're made of a cardboard type cover there. Just literally the record is slid in. There's no inner sleeve with these at all, and they're sort of flip back. And often what happens is you get a bit of they get shoved in with other records, so I need a bit of repair. The Flanagan Allen has a nice clear foil on the top, which sometimes peels off. Again, this one's been caught amongst some other LPs. I need to repair that with some PVA glue. So, but anyway, that's that one. And then L. Johnson, we got here. I collect some of L. Johnson. Got some of his music. Let's try and put this down here without it falling on the floor. There we go. So L. Johnson, Sir Johnson Memories. Now, this one's LA 8512. With orchestra on the Brunswick. Again, you didn't really get a great deal. No photographs appeared on these. They were just literally a cover. I've probably taken a cue from the old 78 10-inch covers, which of course had a centre hole with the label showing through. These were just sort of step change in that. I've got a side number 1 as opposed to side 1. April Showers, L. Johnson vocal with orchestra. And California, Here I Come, Rockabye Baby, and Dixie Melody. Because L. Johnson actually not only did he blacken his face and do the Negro bit, but also and the black person bit, but also he actually sung in his own right. So Sunny Boy's on there, My Mummy, so quite famous ones. And then there's this one here, which actually I've discovered I've already got volume 3, L. Johnson with orchestra, directed by Maurice Starloff. So this is a repeat, it will seem, but I'll see what the two sound like. There's some line notes on this one, which is quite helpful, so and quite useful there. And then I found this one here. This record cover, actually, this record I say, comes from America, and Felita. I think that's pronounced it, Miguel Felita. Now I don't know this gentleman at all. But I'm looking forward to some of the songs on here, so I'll let you know how that goes on. And still got its price tag, £1.99. Let me see. Oh yes, that's come off right. Sometimes the labels destroy the cover, because this again isn't. It's not a sort of. It's a very matte cover. It's not actually varnished or shiny in any way. So this one suffered a bit of damage. It's got the top split here. Some of these before the flip over type covers, they were just sealed at one end, and so statement of purpose on here makes you laugh. You know, the voices of the century. So again, early 60s, I'd say that was. Moving on, let me just get these so they don't fall on the floor. That is what they want to do. Excuse me a second. Oh God's sake, organise myself better as I do this again. Right, okay, that's that one. Let me just put that down somewhere. Okay, then we've got here Janet MacDonald and Nelson Eddy, and they're quite famous, of course. This is probably a 70s record. It's been electronically created in stereo, so I don't know what this will sound like. And 1980 actually it says on here, so I was slightly out of time there. And but I'm sure that's going to be nice. All the famous songs there from them. Of course, they were singing. Sounds like they were singing from 1935 right the way up to, well, 1936 is right. So it's a year of their songs. So it should sound okay. And then of course John Denver, who I'm a great fan of. This is a repeat, because I thought I'd actually got this album with a buckle in it, but it turns out that I've already got this album, and so I'll see what the two turn out like. So just update a few records there. Let's put these back here before we turn around. There we go. Right, so the other thing I was going to just say to you all was that, let me just put Mr. Hero, not Mr. Panasonic, Mr. GoPro, just to say to you that there's been quite a few, let's get some tea, copyright infringements going around, and I've always said that if I have infringed copyright in any way, I don't own the music and the things that I put on here in terms of photographs and other things, I will remove them. So you might find that if you're following a particular project and there's music played in it, that it's not there, if it's a part one or whatever. Let me know and I'll see what I can still find it for you and send it to you as a private upload, because you know, I just can't afford to have the copyright police come round and or smack me an order for, you know, hundreds of pounds. I know sometimes that I only play part of a tune, but these are rules and they're meant to be to protect artists, and there's been lots of debate on YouTube recently from subscribers that I subscribe to about this. But my view is that, you know, if it has infringed anything or it's third party interest, then I'll take it down, because I'm not going to get into all of that. But I just thought I'd mention that to you. Right, so moving swiftly on, let's have a cup of tea. So where are we with the 118 Blorphonia? Well, I've started to work on the motor now. So I'm going to take Mr. GoPro off his stand here. There we go. There we go. So right, here's the workbench. Now, this is the bit you'll recognise. This is the actual motor itself, motor carcass, the chassis, whatever you want to call it. And I've taken all the parts off that and cleaned them up. This is in quite a state actually, because all of the gooey oil had gone, so the oil had all, the main grease had gone to sort of, I don't know, sort of a gooey sort of thick stuff like putty, and gone very black. So I've cleaned all of that up, and now everything's running nicely. I've even cleaned inside all of the windings here. I've just painstakingly cleaned that off. And what I normally do, I clean my parts with ordinary terp substitute, or in this case it was brush cleaner. So and all that nice gooey stuff in there is what, black stuff in there is all of that. It's all in the and I've even cleaned the other smaller parts off here. So one of the things you have to watch out for when you're doing this job is that sometimes manufacturers put some small pieces in the bottom of certain parts of the actual motor, and these two little blanks here are that. You can see them sticking to the end of my screwdriver. You could easily if you weren't careful, end up washing them down the drain and then wondering why your motor won't work, because these blanks, they actually sit into a recess in the bottom plate here. They actually sit here because the spindle, which is, where's it gone? The spindle here, this is the spindle, this is the turntable spindle, this is the bit you stick your record on with the turntable sitting on top. That actually fits into here. Oops. I'll just do that, demonstrate that very badly. It actually sits in there and then turns. But what's happened is the manufacturers will often build it up to make doing adjustments. So for example, you also have to make sure that, and I'll have to find it now, the ball bearing, which sits in there somewhere, also sits in there, although the whole thing won't work. So wherever that's run off to, I'll have to find that in a second, because it was there earlier. There's a little ball bearing that sits in there as well, but I'll find that. So that's important as well. So these things are quite vital to do that. So that's the first thing I've done. The other thing is that I'm just getting worried that I've lost the ball bearing now. I hope I haven't. The other thing that has to happen is that I've cleaned out the spring, and here's the spring. I've taken all the mucky stuff out of the spring. This is the main spring that runs the whole thing, so that's quite important as well, that you